if I knew for a fact that boa constrictors and anacondas and stuff were not here at this latitude in Florida, I'd think otherwise. Other than that, that's a large snake that caused that. Hey folks, I'm headed out to the big scrub. There's a section in here that borders on the watershed that I have yet to go into, and I got a little bit of time today, even though it's hot, about 82 degrees. So to you snowbound people, I send my greetings. And there's no water out of here. We haven't had rain. This area could normally be ankle to knee deep, but conditions are good other than 82 degrees, but I got plenty of water and I got time. So I'm headed out. Get back with you folks shortly. I spoke too soon. There's lots of water on this trail. Run into a lot of wetlands here. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. Wetlands leading into a cypress swamp, the hardwood hammock pine forest. It's a tough headway today. If this was a baseball game, it'd be considered a rain out, even though there's no rain. You can see the clear blue skies that we're having. It's just everything's flooded out. Everything. And it's mimicking late spring weather here with 82-degree temperatures, heat. The grass is growing, flooded with water. It's become a wetlands like its natural habitat is supposed to be. Therefore, the water moccasins and the rattlesnakes are lying up in there. I don't have snake boots. Even if I did, I still would be a little worried about going into this. So I'm going to have to keep looking around for another area. I'm reminded of something, though, that Kevin Thomas Keel said when we were out on Christmas Day about becoming more scientific in our approach. I'll get up here and show this camera.
I want to do a roundtable discussion and with a big white erase board and start listing and discussing all the things that we know or pretty sure of, and listing hypotheses that we can start testing, and trying to approach this from a more scientific point of view.
I'm all for that. All right. If Bigfoot is a mammal, which most researchers seem to think he is, as opposed to those that think he might be a spiritual being, but if he is a mammal, he is going to be one of either three types of known mammals. The first one is the placental mammal, which makes up the majority of mammals on this earth. Now, the placental mammal is just a fancy term for mammals that are born with an umbilical cord. But the most important thing about that is that they bear non-precocious youth, which require a lot of care. They're born helpless, and they need help, like the human baby, helpless. Many placental mammals require long periods of care before they're on their own, as opposed to the marsupial mammal, which is prevalent only mostly prevalent in Australia, but is also found in the Americas. The possum being about the best example. They are pouch-bearing mammals. The gestation period is very rapid, about 6 to 8 weeks, and it requires a very short period of time for adulthood to be achieved. So the offspring are semi-precocious. I don't know if Bigfoot will fall into that category, but if he did, just think of the orangutan. The orangutan is a placental mammal, but it's arboreal, which means it lives in the trees. the orangutan and other arboreal mammals live within 100 to 150 feet up in the sky. That may account for why we find 1, 2, 3 prints at the most and they're gone. Maybe they've gone back up. The monotremata mammal is only found in like New Guinea, and it's a form of an anteater that looks like a porcupine, and it's almost extinct, and that type of mammal is probably not long for this earth. But the type of mammals that I'm focusing on, if it is a placental mammal that is on the ground, weight-bearing, moving around, it would have to be seed-bearing. Seed-bearing mammals help flora propagate. It's almost as if that's their only purpose. The seeds cling to them and then they carry them off. So when I look in these hardwood areas and I look at some of these cypress domes, swamp areas, if I see a lot of bright vegetation, that's where your seed-bearing mammals are going. If I'm like in this dead-ass area I'm in right now, I don't see any color other than green. I'm not so sure this place is propagated with what I'm looking for. I have to keep moving on. Now that is one scientific way of looking at it. Because you can't just keep looking for game trails and thinking this is what we need to be doing. We got to really hone in on where they're at. When I say green, I mean green. Now, getting back to the arboreal mammal, the tree dweller, there was a animal that went extinct in Florida only about 20,000 years ago, and it was called the giant ground sloth. And when it stood on its hind legs, it reached 12 feet in the air. It would feed off vegetation 12 feet high. Most sloths are tree-bearing, or tree dwellers. And when you look at the hand of primitive primates, or a lot of primates, you get what everyone in Bigfoot calls the mid-tarsal break, because literally is to grab onto a tree branch. Is that the direction we need to be looking? I think that might be the new trend. We've got to look up. It could be right above us and we wouldn't even know it. I found an area that opened up a little bit. Of course, that damn plane is coming back. I want to ask you all about something. Definitely looks like some kind of path coming through here. But this is what's got me. What the hell caused that? If I didn't know better, I'd say that was a very, very large snake. If I knew for a fact that boa constrictors and anacondas and stuff were not here at this latitude in Florida, I'd think otherwise. Other than that, that's a large snake that caused that. Very large snake. I wonder if he's not bundled up in there. And here I am standing, what, 5 feet from him? It's a comforting thought. And there's a clearing, probably about right in there. I need to get in there. It's a big white clearing too. I need to get in there and check that out. Water break. Hi folks, Jim Sona here, taking a water break. Anytime you sit down in Florida, you run a real risk of getting a fire ant attack. And that could put you in the hospital. And it's not pretty. It's not fun. There's an inherent risk coming out here by yourself. Just keep that in mind. I'm not seeing much out here in the way of colored flowers. Keep in mind, you probably going flowers. Florida, you're talking about it's February. We got snow on the ground. And not here. We have flowers and things that sprout and bloom year round. And I just don't think this is an area where you're going to see a lot of mammals. Maybe an occasional deer bounding by. And that's just because of a theory that I've come up with about seed-bearing mammals. And they bring the pollen with them and spread the seeds far and wide. That's how the plants propagate. But they're not doing it in here. But I do know other areas where there are. That's where you need to put the trail cams up at. Not in this hardwood forest. See the pretty trees up above. They are pretty, but you can hear how quiet this is. Listen. Been sitting here about a half an hour now. Just listening. And I'm actually starting to hear things. Or it's not like something walking around. First bird I've heard all day. Mr. Crow. I did hear something move over that direction. Second bird I've heard all day. You see? I've always believed just let it come to you. If you walk around with a selfie stick, which is what I got, and you're walking through the woods for an hour doing a constant narration like Orson Welles at the RCA Theater, is that going to lure them in? Or are you just going to find, yes, Mr. Crow, are you just going to find that after the fact, like Prince or something? How about just sitting still? Relaxing. Not a bad way to spend the afternoon. Solitude of nature. Yeah, I look like a solitude of nature guy, don't I? Thanks for coming out, being with me today. If we did anything, we just showed that nature is nature and it's going to operate on its time frame. And there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. We have a long way to go to fully understanding it. And just want to know, appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. But understand, my channel is not like a lot of other Bigfoot channels. First of all, I've been around longer than all of them. And what I don't do is I don't use the power of suggestion. I don't go around constantly telling you that I saw something out of the corner of my eye or that I heard something and It must be. The implication being that it must be Bigfoot. I don't do that. I don't plant things in your head. And I guess I'm not that good because I see others that they have a 24-minute video, 23 minutes of it is Bigfoot evidence. Scientists should know that. I guess I'm just not that good. I have a real hard time. And I mean, I have a real hard time finding evidence. And that's the way I think it probably is closer to reality. But that's just me. To the ones that just find it lickety-split, again, they should bring scientists with them. That's all I can say. Anyway, glad you came by. Tim out.